What's up? What's up? What's up? It's your old pal Uncle FAFO, above ground, safe and sound, and you're listening to the Gen Extreme podcast. Please listen and like wherever you get your podcast fix. So I'm a little late getting this one out because, Thanksgiving. So I hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. Now, when I was younger, my father had already boiled the turkey carcass and made turkey soup, then froze it and distributed it throughout the neighborhood. I don't know if you do that yourselves, but my wife does, and I'm glad to see tradition never die. This is actually my favorite time of the year as a child. I would sit there with the Sears and Roebuck's catalog and circle every toy I wanted. Then on Sundays, when those big Sunday papers would come, I'd take out all the flyers from the different stores like Zare, Riches, Caldor, stores that aren't around any longer, and I would cut out the ones I wanted for toys and give them to my parents. As an only child, I bet you thought I was spoiled rotten, but I really wasn't. My mom was hurt and wasn't able to work, and then my dad had to provide for the family. So I did get decent amount of toys, but I wasn't spoiled rotten. This is how I also learned there was no Santa Claus. I'd asked for height, and the fat bastard gave me Tonka trucks, which, by the way, Tonka trucks back in the day were badass because I've seen some now from back then, and they still look great. So a few years ago, I was working for a home improvement store. We shall call it Chrome Creeple, and I worked in lumber. So me and my coworker were walking to the back room, and we had to walk through the section where they had the doors. And this very heavy-set man asked me if he could get a door down from the top. And I said, well, it's going to be a minute. I don't work this department. I have to find someone because it's a big process. You have to get like this lift, and they have to get it and pull the door down. So me and my friend started walking to the back room. And as we're walking to the back room, we hear crash. I turn around, and he had tried to pull the door from the top, and it fell and smashed. So I walked back with my friend, and I'm like, what is your problem, bro? So all of a sudden, my friend turns into an African guide, and he's like, Sahib, the rhino, she charges. And I look, and the man is red and running at me, and my friend hauls ass out of there. So he runs up to me, and he starts breathing heavy, and his breath smelled like chitlins and haggis. It was just disgusting. And he's like growling, and from my pants I hear pussy, and he stops and he looks at me and goes, what did you say? I go, I didn't say anything. And then all of a sudden it says pussy again. He's like, what are you, a smart ass? I said, buddy, it is not me, it's my dick. It knows a pussy when it sees one. He loses his shit. Now, why on earth does everybody that's bigger than a small person want to say this over and over? Is it in a movie or something that they've heard? I'm going to rip off your head and shit down your neck, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just staring at him. And I went, really? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, well, these cameras would love to see that. And he's like, what? And he's like looking around. And it dawned on him that he's actually on camera. And he's like, "Urgh," and he walks off. And his girlfriend goes, you showed him. And I'm thinking in my head, showed me? He didn't show me shit. So my friend comes back with the manager. And he's like, what happened? I'm like, really, bro? Really? This is what you did? So the manager's like, what happened? And he's like, what's this mess? And he's, what happened here? And I'm like, it's nothing. I was like, it's nothing. Because honestly, at the end of the day, they're going to take the guy's side. They're going to, no matter what I say, they're going to take his side. So I was just like, it's no big deal. So we end up cleaning it up. But that's the bad part of being in retail. Like, people can act like total assholes, and they're going to take their side. Now, I will say this. The customer's always right is not what people think it is. That was from a deli in Massachusetts. Way back in the day, it was for pricing and scales, like the weight. What it is now is companies are so afraid of losing the business that they're just going to cowtail the customers. And customers know it, and they're assholes. During the holiday season, I was working, and I actually watched, the 12 items or less. So this lady came up, and it was like a carriage of 20 to 30 items. And these young kids working the register, and, she's like, ma'am, this is 12 items. And the lady went off on her and started screaming at her, belittling this little girl, like this teenager. And I wanted to say something so bad, but I just kept my mouth shut because at the end of the day, I am not a worker there. I'm just a vendor. But it's really disgusting, the self-entitlement that's going on nowadays. Now, I don't know if you host during Thanksgiving, but me and my wife do, so we have the family over. And my granddaughters come over, and I play with them to keep them busy. And does anybody remember what a Hertz donut is? A Hertz donut is, you ask someone, say, would you like a Hertz donut? And then you punch them in the arm and say, Hertz donut. I am, of course, not going to punch my grandchildren in the arm, but I did poke my granddaughter in the arm after she said, yes, I'd like one. And you would have thought I killed her. She ran to my wife and told on me. So my wife came and was like, really? And I was like, what? I was like, I didn't do anything. So my granddaughter's standing there holding her arm like it's destroyed. And she's like, you need to go sit on the stairs. And I'm like, what? She's like, you need to go sit on the stairs and think about what you did. I'm like, so the whole thing about the stairs is my wife got these outfits for my granddaughters, these little cop outfits with the hats and the handcuffs. And they come over and we play and they arrest me. And it's kind of funny because the very first time they did it, they were like, you're under arrest. And my wife was like, your grandfather knows that too well. And I was like, really? This is what you're going to say that in front of the kids? And so their jail is on the stairs. They put me on the stairs to sit and think about my crimes. And I escape, and then they chase me around the house. But she was staring at me so mad. And she was like, that wasn't funny, Grampy. And I'm like, I thought it was hysterical. And she just stormed off. But I don't know if any of you play with your grandkids like that. But good God, kids are just hysterical nowadays. They take things so damn serious. If any of you are wondering, today's episode is brought to you by the number 12. For the 12 days of Christmas we have to endure until this shit is over. And by the letter Y. For Yule, you'll be happy when this shit is over. How about we do some letters? Alright? First letter. Dear Uncle FAFO, what is your issue with people that have gender identity problems? Okay, clearly you have selective listening. Like many people out there nowadays, they only hear what the hell they want to hear and not everything that's said. If you listen to the whole episode, I do not have a problem with that. I think it is an absolute problem. I think it's something that these people deal with. I think it's something that, they go through and it hurts them and it stresses them out, and it's something that we should be supportive of to help them. My issue is with the people that abuse it. And I'll give you an example. The parents that made the school identify their child as a lion. That is not a gender identity problem. That is a kid with an overactive imagination whose parents didn't want to deal with it, don't know how to deal with it, and then forced it onto the school to deal with. Now, if my child's at the school and this kid's sitting there going, courage, courage, put him up, oh, wrong lion, sorry. All right, if this kid's sitting there growling at my kid or tries to bite my kid, and my kid decides I'm Craven the Hunter and makes a lion skin rug out of him, I'm not going to be mad at my kid. That's the type of bullshit I'm talking about. Where people just abuse something that's really an issue or really a problem for someone, and they take advantage of it to manipulate the system. I do have a story to go with this. So I was actually beaten manners into me when I was a child. Literally beaten into me. Like, you respect women, you respect men, you respect everybody. Yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. Beaten into me. If I didn't do this, I got a backhand later on, because that's the way I was brought up. You will respect them. Respect people. So I was working for a company, and me and a person walked up, and I said, oh, she can go first. And I walked away. Me and that person were work friends. We got along. Didn't think anything of it. I get called to the office. The person filed a complaint because of what I said and felt that I was disrespecting them because they don't identify as a she. And I was just staring at my boss thinking it was a joke. I'm like, are you kidding? And he's like, no, this is very serious. He's like, you can get fired over this. And I was like, what? Now, this person never said anything to me about, you need to address me like this. You need to talk to me like this. Nothing. Went straight to the manager and tried to get me fired. So he said, I understand it's a misunderstanding. I'm not going to fire you. Just be more sensitive to other people's feelings. And I was staring at him, and in my mind, I'm thinking, wait a minute. Why can't they be sensitive to my feelings? Because I was beaten into having to say these things from a kid all the way to an adult, and I don't know how to not be like that. But I digress. So the person started trying to talk to me, and I wouldn't talk to them. I'm like, I'm not going to talk to them. Because they basically tried to get me fired. So I'm like, no. And we're supposed to be friends. So I did not talk to them. And they would go to people, and the people would come to me, and I'm like, I have nothing to say about this. I don't want to talk about it. It's over. They went to management again and complained that I was not socializing with them. And they felt I was alienating them. And I just looked at my boss, and I said, you know what? I don't know what the hell to do. I told him, I said, look, here's the thing. I don't know what to do. I was like, I don't want to talk to the person because they tried to get me fired. I didn't know that this is what they wanted to be addressed as, they, them. I didn't. I was like, and then I'm the bad guy now. And I was like, I don't want to deal with this. I was like, I don't want to talk to him, and we should just end this. Needless to say, I got in trouble, and I got written up, and I was like, are you kidding me? So that was another problem I have. I mean, you got to be more, understanding and not so quick to like jump to the person's trying to disrespect you. I understand if like someone's really trying to disrespect you, but if someone's just trying to be courteous, that's different. I mean, that's a whole different story. Person's not trying to like segregate you or put you down or not honor your beliefs. That's not what they were doing. Like, I wasn't doing that. I was just trying to be polite. Now, I do understand people's arguments about the bathrooms because there are sick individuals out there who will take advantage of the situation, like we've just established. People will manipulate stuff, and there are perverts out there that would try to get into the bathrooms for the kids. And it's a sick thing, but that's what will happen. And so I get it. They should have more family rooms so people that do have gender identity problems can go in, or issues, sorry, and can go into those rooms and use those bathrooms. And that's how I feel. Next letter. Uncle FAFO, tell us more of what it was like growing up in the Gen X era. Okay, I'm pretty sure I died like 6 or 7 times growing up. And it all started with these words. Hey, watch this, or hey, check this out. That was always the beginning of my death and would be on my tombstone. Now, during the winter, we had steep hill that we'd sled down. And at the bottom was a house. So we'd pack snow up at the bottom and hit the snow. And many a times I would fly down that hill and they'd be like, car! And you're trying to shift the sled over to the right to slide down so the car doesn't kill you. And then you hit the snowbank. And many a times I hit that snowbank, flew off the sled, hit the icy ground, and knocked myself unconscious just to wake up and go, holy shit, that was awesome. When it was summer, we'd have the ramps, and I've flown off my bike numerous times, hit the ground, and again was unconscious. And I swear to you, I'm pretty sure I died these times and just came back to life. And I didn't go home. Like, I'd be scraped up, but I wouldn't go home and tell my mom I was scraped up, because remember Mercurochrome? That red stuff with the dipstick that they put on your on your cuts, and then they'd blow on it, and like it was 10 times worse than any cut you ever had, and you would like literally be crying your eyes out, holding in the tears, because your mom would always say, I know you're not crying, I'll give you something to cry about. When I was a teenager, when we were drinking, we'd go up to the park, and when we were drunk, we'd get on the merry-go-round, we'd be like, hey, watch this, spin me as fast as you can, and watch how long I can stay on. And I've flown off many a times and smashed myself onto the ground. And like, it was just very fun times, but also very crazy times. I don't know how many of you put your tree up after Thanksgiving, but we haven't put ours up yet. We're waiting for our granddaughters to come over. I'm going to bring it upstairs. We have a fake tree. This is something we did not have as a child. My parents did not believe in fake trees. It had to be a real tree. And decorating it was a big family project. Like, we had tinsel, an angel on top, and it was beautiful. Like, it was actually a beautiful tree. So my father would pick them out, and we'd go home and we'd put them in the water and we would decorate them. I actually don't mind a fake tree, but it took me a little bit getting used to, because I was not used to doing that. I do miss the excitement of waiting for the Christmas cartoons to come on. Now you can, like I said, you can watch them anytime you want, but I remember like the excitement of just sitting there waiting for these cartoons to come on, like the Peanuts Christmas, or Fat Albert's Christmas, or Garfield's Christmas. Like, I loved sitting there for Christmas. My favorite Christmas stories are The Little Drummer Boy and Nestor the Long-Eared Donkey. If you have never seen Nestor the Long-Eared Donkey, it's a very cute story about this donkey who has excessively long ears, and it wraps them around Mary to get her to the stables. Now, when I was younger, we'd go to the mall during the Christmas season with my girlfriends, and they tried to do trickanometry on me. And what I mean by trickanometry is they would wear something and try and trick me into buying it for them by saying how good they looked. I, of course, would do man math. What man math is I would look at the price tag, and then in my mind, I would figure out what I could buy with the money they wanted to spend. I'd be like, oh my God, that's 2 cases of beer, some munchies, a thing of weed. I know that seems selfish, but back in the day, that's what I was. And I would actually break up with people before Christmas so I wouldn't have to buy them anything. Same thing with Valentine's Day. I'd break them up with them like a week before. I'm like, I'm not buying shit. I was an asshole. I do have a positive story to share with you. So a few years ago, I had gotten Facebook and the Messenger. And I got a ping saying, a friend request. And I looked the person up, and it said they went to my high school. So I was like, oh, shit, okay. So I friended them. And then I got this message, and it said, I don't think you remember me, but I wanted to thank you. And I continued reading, and it said, during high school, you were by me, and you talked to me for a few minutes, and It was on a day I thought about killing myself. You made me laugh, you made me feel better, and I realized that I shouldn't do that. And I wrote the person back immediately, and I said, "Oh my God, I'm so happy that you didn't." And but I never thought in my life I would ever get anything like that from anybody. Like, I never thought I could help anybody. So let me explain. You can make a difference in someone's life by just being nice, just walking by and saying hello. I know it's hard. Like, if you don't know someone, just smile and say, "Hey, how you doing today?" And it makes a big difference in people's lives. I mean, you never know what a person's going through. I mean, sometimes bad things happen to people, and they're just going through some shit, and they just need like some kind of voice to make them feel better inside. My wife worked with a guy for years, and he actually died on Thanksgiving. And his wife was watching Stranger Things because was his favorite show. So my wife texted her, and they were really close. And like, you just never know what someone's going through. Just remember that Christmas isn't about getting gifts or giving gifts to someone. It's about compassion and love. The three wise men that went to see Jesus, they didn't know Jesus. They just went to him and gave him these gifts out of the kindness of their heart, out of the love they had for someone that they didn't know. So sadly, that message has been lost over the years to this people being greedy. All right, let's do the DGAF Mirror. FAFO, 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 FAFO. He doesn't give a fuck, don't you know? FAFO, FAFO, FAFO. All right, first person I see in the mirror today. Let me see. Alexi from New Mexico. Alexi just don't give a fuck. Looking. Okay. Is that Rhonda? Rhonda from Minnesota. Don't give a fuck. Looking. Jeffrey from Seattle, Washington. He's looking around saying, "Fuck y'all, I don't care." And last but not least, Art from New Orleans. Art doesn't give a fuck what you think. So thank you very much. If you would like to write into the show, the email is brunislaww@gmail.com. Do care of Uncle FAFO, and I will read your letter online, or I will tell you a story. But make sure it's something that is appropriate that I can read online. I'll put that email in the notes for the show, and I thank you all for listening. Please like and subscribe wherever your podcast fix. And all my ghetto cowboys out there, mount up. Peace.